A recent New York Times editorial put the real cost of gasoline, including military expenditures, at about $5 per gallon. Along with national security and economic concerns, the environment externality cost of our growing dependence on fossil fuels surely possesses the most serious threat of all. Burning increasing amounts of petroleum-based transportation fuels is poisoning the Earth's atmosphere. Change is required. Nothing less than the continued health of each person of the planet is at stake. The American Lung Association has been quoted as saying that over the last decade, the death rate for lung disease has risen faster than that of the top leading causes of death. Tens of millions of Americans live in areas not meeting at least one federal air quality standard. The health costs of air pollution are estimated to be $50 billion each year. According to the American Lung Association, healthcare costs associated with air pollution are estimated to be at $50 billion each year and growing. 90 million Americans live in areas with dangerous levels of ozone pollution, and tens of millions more live in areas not meeting any federal air quality standards at all. The Union of Concerned Scientists stated that human mortality and morbidity due to air pollution accounts for over 3/4 of the total environmental cost and could be as high as $182 billion annually. Since biofuels are nearly carbon neutral, they contribute very little greenhouse gases to global warming. Biofuels also reduce many other harmful emissions dramatically, and in some cases, eliminate them completely. By reducing emissions, biofuels can aid greatly in improving air quality and water quality for children and those living in major metropolitan areas. You know, I'm going to read you a quote right now, and then I'm going to tell you who actually was quoted as saying it. And it's pretty surprising, pretty ironic about where we are now. This gentleman said that we can get fuel from fruit, from the sumac by the roadside, or from apples, weeds, sawdust, almost anything. There is enough alcohol in 1 year's yield of an acre of potatoes to cultivate that field for 100 years. And it remains for someone to find how this fuel can be produced commercially, better fuel at a better price than we now have. That gentleman was Henry Ford, and that quote is from 1908. Today, over 100 years later, we have the answer. It is biofuels. The U.S. ethanol industry now has the capacity to produce an over 7 billion gallon per year of high-octane, clean-burning motor fuel. Boy, would Henry Ford be proud. It only took us 100 years to heed his suggestion. We don't have that amount of time, however, to dally anymore. We don't need to see the finish line to know that our job is to run as fast as we can. America can be the innovation engine that changes the course of history by creating crucial new clean energy technologies. We just have to look for them, nurture these technologies, and convince companies to rethink the way they do everything. How do we change our habits? How can we start? You hear as of late solar, wind, geothermal, biomass, and biofuels. You hear green this and sustainability that. Let's stay on sustainability for a moment. What does the term really mean? It means rethinking everything, the way we make and use energy, the life cycle of products and processes. It means leaving no stone unturned in our quest to help reverse the effects of global climate change. Today, I'm here to tell you that the National Green Energy Council has found one company that has done just that. One company that looked deep into the way its business could evolve to think about this very issue of sustainability. That company, I am proud to say, has achieved the first ever product endorsement from the National Green Energy Council as an eco-friendly product. That company is Co-Fire Industries, and you'll hear from one of its managing members in a few moments. Cold mix, the patching material that's used in pothole and other temporary repairs to blacktop pavement in streets, playgrounds, parks, driveways, parking lots, sidewalks, and other surfaces, is silently contaminating the environment and the air we breathe. It's not the cold mix itself, however, but the diesel fuel that's added to maintain a soft consistency, so the patching material can be applied in temporary repair jobs like filling potholes and cracks in school playgrounds, park walkways, even driveway basketball courts around this great nation. Cold mix is widely used commercially and industrially by utility companies, construction, maintenance, and contracting companies, city and state agencies, towns and small villages, and other municipalities. Based on conservative data provided to our organization from CoFire, more than 60,000 tons of cold mix found its way into the New York City's 5 boroughs last year for things that I've described. This translated into over 300,000 gallons of diesel fuel being dumped into our environment. To put this into perspective, it is equivalent to emptying diesel fuel from 50 fuel tanker trucks in 50 different neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs of New York, taking no abatement measures and leaving the toxins to be absorbed into the land and the atmosphere. But it doesn't stop with commercial and industrial use. In the same areas, an additional estimated 10,000 tons of cold mix was sold last year in 60-pound bags at home improvement and big box retailer outlets to homeowners, small contractors, and landscapers. That's another 50,000 gallons of diesel, bringing the total to more than 350,000 gallons of diesel fuel, contaminating the environment of New York last year, equivalent to 58-plus fuel tanker trucks. These numbers, however, are on course to jump by as much as 50% over the next 12 months, which could bring the total to well over 500,000 gallons of diesel fuel, virtually being dumped into New York City's environment. The jump in cold mix use is equated to 2 factors. One, the skyrocketing costs of materials used in permanent road repairs, and budget shortfalls facing cities, state governments, and local governments as a result of the nation's financial crisis. I have stated some statistics for New York. Now perform the multiplier to every major city, small town, hamlet, and municipality in this great nation. That's why we have titled this press conference, America's Toxic Streets. City and state agencies will be forced to abandon costly permanent road resurfacing and capital road construction projects, but still will have to maintain the integrity of these streets and roadways. The quick, temporary, less costly fix means that patching damaged street and road surfaces with diesel-laden cold mix patching material will be the norm. Although cold mix is used in temporary patching applications, the diesel fuel additive, ironically, has long-term effects on human health and the environment, according to many medical experts. They believe the toxic vapors from the diesel fuel additive in cold mix are a major facilitator of an incidence rate of juvenile and adult asthma, heart disease, and other chronic respiratory and pulmonary diseases in many neighborhoods in Brooklyn, the Bronx, that exceeds the national average. Now think about these numbers nationally. Besides poisoning the air we breathe, these deadly toxins silently and invisibly contaminate the surfaces on which children and pets recreate. 80% of this diesel fuel additive in cold mix runs off into the environment within the first 24 hours, into backyards and parks and playgrounds, lawns and sidewalks, and storm drains, exposing unsuspecting Americans and their children to highly volatile cancer-causing carcinogens and contaminating domestic animals, wildlife, plant, and marine life. The remaining 20% evaporates into the air that we breathe on a daily basis.